Good morning, all of you on the eastern seaboard. I don't know, is the eastern seaboard the same as maybe it's different. You have your eastern time zone, and then I don't know, I think it's all the same though. I think the time in Ohio is the same as the time in Rhode Island, but I don't know. Anyways, as usual, I always start out bad. But yesterday wasn't a very eventful day. I had a good morning already because I did a lot of work. Even though my voice is not the best, I did a lot of work on my book. Hopefully it doesn't sound too horrible. But I just finished and I already had the microphone in place, so I was like, what the hell? So I bought my old people scooter for $700 on the 3rd with free shipping, and it came on the 4th. So it's in my living room right now, waiting to be assembled once I get going. I woke up this morning, watched some baseball, and then worked on my book. So for, I don't know, a couple hours. Not my book, but this book, which is falling apart. It's literally falling apart. There's pieces coming out of it. I probably have to tape it up. Hopefully I don't have to buy another one. But the other thing that happened is I looked in the boat guy's eyes yesterday. Well, yesterday was my brother's birthday, so I get these Meals on Wheels shipments, and rather than give him a present, I'm like, well, I get like 4 boxes. They're already in boxes. The dude likes free food, so I arranged for the boat guy to agree to transport those over for my brother, over to my brother's who lives in another city, and leave them on his porch for a present. And but anyways, I called my cop buddy earlier in the day because I knew I was going to see the boat guy later in the day, so I was like, give me a call back later, and then I was going to find out from the boat guy when exactly this guy is moving, on whose property is the boat. Now, the key component here is like, he is not, it wasn't his house and he wasn't selling it, he was just running there. So I don't know how this works legally, but it could have been possible that once the guy left, that whatever is on the property, which would have been my boat, belongs to the owner of the property. Because when the people got kicked out upstairs and I went up there with the landlord was trying to give me their shit. So whatever was left in the apartment was his to give or throw away as he saw fit. So I talked, called the police guy, my policeman friend, earlier in the day. Don't get no answer. Tell him to call me back. Call the boat guy. The boat guy tells me that guy is moving today. He's moving tomorrow. So I got like 24 hours to figure out what to do about this boat. And he's like, I already told you that. And I'm like, no, you didn't. I was like, I would remember that. It's kind of important. I would remember that. What you told me was that it was going to happen soon, and that's weed. That's I don't give a damn what people say. Pot is not a harmless drug. People like to think it's harmless, especially those that like to smoke it. And it's not a harmless drug. It alters your state of consciousness. There's a reason why people, if it didn't change your consciousness, why in the hell would people bother smoking it? So, so I'm like, I looked in the guy's eyes and there was no remorse. There was nothing there. He had eyes like a doll's eyes, dead. And when those eyes rolled white, I knew that I was a dead man. However, that Robert Shaw speech goes from Jaws. So I'm like, well, shit, man, we got to figure something out. Can you move it onto your property? And he goes, I don't think I have enough room for it on my property. I said, he said, like, there's only so much space between the house and the garage, and I don't think it'll fit. But who knows? He could have been like, could have been his version of, yeah, I don't want to do it. I don't know. I don't, you know, after 12, 27, 17, I've just come to the conclusion that I don't know anybody. I don't know another human soul on this earth. You know, the best I can do is to try to know myself. And, which I think I know myself pretty well by now. So I don't know what's going through this guy's head, but I looked in his eyes and I made eye contact and I expected to see a little shame, at the whole thing and the whole sad story, which has already been recounted about the boat. There wasn't nothing there, man. The idea that he was actually going to be like, well, I did some damage to your boat, like here's a token amount, say $100. I'm sorry I did that. That was my fault. Yeah, I never had any illusions about any of that happening. So, anyways, I call the policeman. The policeman guy calls me back. He's dependable as the weather. That didn't make no sense. He's dependable as snow in January if you live in Ohio. Um, so he calls me back, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to ask you to do anything, I said, but I just found out from the boat guy that those people are moving tomorrow. They don't own the property. And I said, I don't know how that works. If we don't get it off of the guy's property, if the guy gets to keep my boat. It's like I don't know how that works. Possession is 9/10 of the law, and he didn't have any comment about it at all. I guess later on I'll ask him about that. But he was like, well, I was like, I'm not asking you anything. I said, maybe if we could do it sometime within the next few days, maybe we can, like, before the guy shows up, maybe we can get it out of there. But he's like, no, I can do it tonight. That's how good a friend this guy is. He's like, I got time tonight. We can do it tonight. So I call back the boat guy and I'm like, look, man, he's going to show up in about a half an hour and get that boat out of there. He's like, okay. And the boat has a weird a trailer hitch mount that's like a weird size or whatever. But my policeman friend shows up and he's got two different sizes trailer hitches, but neither one of them fit this boat. And like the guy's like, well, we can't. The boat guy's like, well, we can't do this. I was like, it's not gonna fit. And he's like, you watch me. And he just tied a chain. He just like had a chain he had in his truck, and he just tied a chain up and chained the boat uh, to his truck. And it's only a quarter of a mile down the road. And I went out there like a dumbass, and I cleared out all the garbage cans out of the way, and I moved this wood pile that the meth heads had built up, which always disturbed me. It's like, why are they creating a wood pile? And I like random boards and logs and shit, and boards with nails in it and stuff. It's like, there are no fireplaces in here. Are they going to burn the place down? I mean, why is this wood pile being created in a place with gas heat and no fireplaces? But anyways, I cleared that out of the way, and I cleared the garbage cans out of the way, and one of them was full of rain. That was the neighbors, and I'm lucky I didn't wrench my back because the thing weighed like freaking 200 pounds, and I was just like an inch at a time moving it out of the way so they could back the boat in, because I assumed they had a trailer hitch, a proper trailer hitch, and they could just like back it straight back alongside my house. But because of the chain, my leg hurts today for no reason, because you can't do that with a chain. They were lucky to even turn corners. There was only a couple of corners they had to turn to get to my house with that chain attached to it. They were lucky to get away with that. So they get here, they undo the chain and wheel it bodily back there, and they got it kind of cornered, but I wasn't going to complain. And one of the wheels was in the grass, and it's kind of like sideways and shit, but it's out there right now. And I was like, I want to look at the inside of it because I haven't seen the boat in years, you know. And I had been told that the boat had wood inside, so wood and carpet, and I was like, well, that's all just trash now, you know. That's got to be gutted, as my policeman friend put it, because the drain plug wasn't pulled, and it's just been a bucket of water, and this water's been sitting in there rotting the wood. So I open it up, and it smells in there, and I pull back the tarp, and it smells in there, and the it has like upright cushioned seats in two places, and they were all messed up and smelly, and it didn't look good in there. And there was like a cardboard box that was all waterlogged and stuff. And I'm like, why'd you leave this cardboard box in here? And the boat guy was like, oh, those are boat seats that I had bought. And then he offers to sell them to my cop friend in front of me. It's like, well, hell, I paid $35, $50 for those boat seats. You only paid $1,500 for the boat and paid another $200 to get it on the water. I'm just going to go ahead and try to make a little profit off of this in front of you. And joking or not, maybe he was joking. You just don't do that. So I said as little to him as possible. And I thanked profusely my cop friend, and I said, I'll see you later, to the boat guy, because like it or not, he's a part of my life. I mean, I've known him literally my whole life. So I was like, I embarrassed him by giving him his first advice on girls. That's how long I've known the dude, so I don't know why he is like he is, or how he got to be that way. I can quote a person that said about him, what happened to that sweet boy I used to know? Or that sweet guy that I used to know. I forget how, yeah, it was that sweet guy that I used to know. What happened to that sweet guy that I used to know? This is a secondhand quote that I heard from somebody else. And I don't know, I don't know where that person went. So yeah, the boat's out there. That happened yesterday. Yesterday was my brother's birthday, and I just gave him my whole Meals on Wheels shipment, plus some extra stuff. And my scooter came and needs reassembled. It came in about I think the box said it weighed 124 pounds, but that's with the box. I think the actual scooter only weighs like 94 pounds. So I gotta, later on, I'll try to assemble that. Yeah, and also I was gonna get my fingernails worked on to try to pick up playing guitar again, which I haven't really had the will for. I haven't picked up a guitar in ever. Not since the meth head situation developed in July. There was no point to it. I had hand tremors and my nerves were shot and whatnot. So we're talking half a year or more. I haven't touched a guitar. I mean, I put money into guitars. I told the boat guy, because I always had this dream that of playing guitars with him and this other guy that's really good at guitar, that's a friend of his. And for whatever reason, in January and July, I didn't give up on that dream. And there's something in me that doesn't want to give up on the boat dream either, that wants to keep the boat, which is just stupid. but I just don't want to give up that idea because, I don't know, something wrong with me. But I did tell him I want that bass guitar that I had set up for Lefty, and I want the amp that goes to it. So when you come down to pick up um, that food and take it to my brother's for his birthday, I want you to bring those down here because I really don't have any amplification here, and my pedal died because I left it on for like months, and I threw a towel or something on it during the meth crisis of last summer. So those meth people, they cost me a lot in sanity and a lot in actual dollars. That was I call it a pedal, but it's actually a multi-effects board that was worth like $150. That I just left on because I threw a newspaper or a towel, or I threw something over top of it that didn't let me know that I didn't turn it off, and then just left it there for months and months on, and it ruined it. So yesterday was very eventful because scooter, boat, confrontation, guy trying to sell boat cushions in front of me, jokingly. But if my policeman friend would have took him up on it, I guarantee you he would have sold them right in front of me. Um, ugh, just went. I just, yeah, that was on the way home. My policeman friend called me back and was like talking about the whole experience, and he was like, "That was the most surprising thing, the most interesting thing about the whole thing is he was going to sell me those boat cushions. He offered to sell me those boat cushions." That's of course when I said, yeah, they cost $35-50. I only paid $1,500 for the boat and put another $200 in it. So, he's got to get some of his money back that he invested. But yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time hating him. I'm not a hateful person, so I have a hard time hating him over this whole stupidity. Because he owned up to his stupidity. He's like, I didn't pull the drain plug. The interior boat's fucked up. I fouled your sail. He was honest about it. He was honest about the other stuff that he did. He acknowledged the fact that, he abandoned his promise. And I don't know how sorry he is about any of it, but, that's all I need is like, you just acknowledge what you did. I don't really see any remorse in him over it, And there's going to be no money thrown my way for any damages done. I'm going to have to rip up the carpet and probably throw out the seats. And I don't know what all I did to the. There's like a steering wheel and mechanical linkage going to it. I don't really know what all damage was actually done to the boat. It was cold and kind of rainy out, and I just lifted up the edge of the tarp and I took a whiff and a quick look inside there. So, now, as my horrid life continues, I have to research before I even get to the scooter and trying to assemble that. And boy, am I mechanical. That should be easy, though, I'm hoping. I have to look up where my appointment is on the 19th in Medina and make sure I have the address right, and then see if my caseworker's in, and I have business to conduct. But at least I got a large part of my book done this morning. So maybe I'm not in the best voice, but this is my voice after reading for 45 minutes. And yeah, I didn't talk a whole lot yesterday on purpose because I made that one video that was like almost 2 hours, and I had talked to people earlier in the day on the phone, and my voice was just trash the next day, which was yesterday. So I was like, I'm not talking today, not very much at all. But I can feel it now. I can feel like this. There was something else I wanted to talk about, but I feel like this video should come to an end, and I should save my voice. There was something else I wanted to talk about. I don't remember. I was going to mention that this nice guy was talking to me on the internet and then just deleted his post, and I couldn't figure out why. and his first name was Jeff. And it's like, why'd you delete that? You know, Jeff, wherever you are welcome. I am a welcoming, easygoing soul. So if you ever want to talk to me again, you can talk to me again. And, you know, I mean, you don't have to answer any of my questions. I always have questions. I'm always interested in other people. But nobody ever has to answer any of my questions. So I didn't know what that was about or why that happened. Or maybe the guy, maybe people suffer embarrassment from the benzo suffering. But man, don't be embarrassed about it. I mean, it happens to so many of us. And especially, I should be embarrassed because I started taking the crap off the street and didn't even look it up. I was just like, oh, just another downer. And I, got myself physically dependent that way. But other people, they have idiot doctors who prescribe it as a sleep aid, and then you take it every day because you're having trouble sleeping for whatever reason. And then guess what? You're suffering through sometimes pretty severe benzo withdrawal, and sometimes even the syndrome thing that goes on and on and on, and doesn't seem like it'll ever end. So I'm in a bad patch right now, as that last video indicated. But that might only last for me for a couple of days. And with other people, it lasts for them for months and months and months. So I still consider myself lucky and to have gotten off easy. As far as the benzo thing, I mean, as far as this whole situation, living in a ruined body, it doesn't work right, having to get an operation while going through withdrawal. My second operation, by the way, while going through withdrawal, because I had the oral surgery at the beginning of it, which really fucked me, but that's old news. The knee surgery maybe on the 19th of this month when I go into Medina. They'll set a date for it. Maybe I can find out. And when I go to my regular doctor, my PCP, primary care provider, on the 23rd, I'm still going to ask him to finance a scooter in case what's sitting in the living room in that big giant box is a piece of crap. And you know what? Even if it isn't a piece of crap, I know a guy next door that could use one, because the guy in the wheelchair just happened to be checking on his mail when the UPS guy came with it, and he knocked on my door and said, "Hey, it's here." And I was already watching out the windows and seeing everything, waiting for the guy in case I had to sign a paper. And I opened the door, and the guy's like, "What is it?" It's huge, because it's like in a box the size of a refrigerator. And I said, "Oh, it's one of them old people mobility scooters." And he looked at me with real interest, and he was like, "Do you mind if I ask you how much it cost?" And I said, $700 free shipping. And he goes, "Huh?" Because he don't ever get to leave the house either. And, I don't know how he would, if he could truck around in one of them things or not. But I'll tell you what, if I get a good scooter, he can have that one for cheap. Or maybe even for free, depending upon what mood I'm in. So I'm still going to ask my doctor to finance a free one through whatever government agency or whatever, however it works. He just has to sign a paper. The thing of it is, I bought this one that's in the living room because that one that he's going to sign for, he said could take up to 6 months to come, and I ain't sitting in this place all summer listening to this bullshit upstairs. I'm getting outside in the weather. I'm getting some sunshine. I might even get myself a nice tan. I have to put sun lotion on the top of my head, though. You never know, man. But anyways, I'm going to end her there. And yesterday was eventful. This morning was productive, which puts me in a semi-good mood. But believe me, I am not feeling all that great. and I need to go move around, eat breakfast, and see about a constitutional, which if you don't know what that is, I don't like to talk about those things. I don't like to talk, I really don't like talking about the very basic physical bodily needs that we all share, you know. My brother though, man, he will talk about that kind of thing until you're like, please just stop. just just stop, please. So, um anyways, so I guess that's my update. I feel like I'm leaving something out, but it doesn't matter because I don't have much voice left anyway. And I wish you a good day, and I will talk to you later, and probably soon, because things keep happening. And I did get to look in that guy's eyes, and I didn't see much there in the way of remorse. It was just like, man, could happen to anybody. Breaking promises, leaving things out in the rain that belong to other people, not giving them a warning, actually, he gave me like 12 hours warning that person was vacating the premises, because he might already be out of that place right now, and since he's a renter, well, I already talked about that. I don't know how that works. If like the guy comes there and he's like, oh, I got me a free boat, the guy that actually owns the property. But anyways, goodbye, and we will talk at you later. Adios.